Hey everyone, Leo the guitarist here, and I know, right? Like, there's no intro riff, no, surprisingly no Laney. Yeah, this is not that kind of video. So, yeah, today, special day. I got here. Let's see. Got me a new piece of gear provided by Sweetwater.com. So, yeah, I figured this will be another new gear day video, and I'm going to use my 412 in case you haven't figured it out that it's an amp. And yeah, just going to pop it open and see what we got. Got my trusty scalpel. Alright, let's see what's inside the big box. Ooh, I like this new bubble wrap from Sweetwater. Aww, Sweetwater sends me a rather nice thank you card with, there's like a Sweetwater sticker, always awesome. Free 5 issues of Premier Guitar, pretty sweet. Receipt, and yeah, always nice. And of course, Sweetwater always sends candy, which is awesome. Okay, first up, it looks like I have a high quality protective cover for said mysterious amp. I have a feeling that if I show you the front of this cover, it will give away the amp, so I'll leave it right there for now. But that's nice. Ooh, some more bubble wrap. Yeah. So much. I'm kind of excited, so let's see. I'm a bit giddy, as it were. Put that down. I do not want any of this to get squished. Oh. So, I got the T50 Infinium from Bugera. I hope I'm saying that right, Bugera, and not Bugera. But, yeah. Let's pop open, a hidden surprise, another Sweetwater Pro Gear magazine. Juicy. Ooh, this is the Spring 2017 edition. Nice. Get that box out of there. Alright, we gotta pop open this box. Now, what is the T50 Infinium? Well, it is a 50-watt H-style 2-channel tube amp. Yeah, so let's pop this open. Let's take a nice look at it, and I'll go through a few of the settings, see what I like, give you my thoughts on it, and yeah, we'll see where we stand. Now, one thing to consider when I decided to get this was that at the time I was looking for something of a backup amp, like an emergency backup amp. As you all know, if you happen to follow me, then you happen to know that I use Laney. I use a nice Laney Ironheart. Ooh, what's this? Ooh, channel switcher, foot switch. Nice. Has a channel button and a reverb button. That is always handy. Ugh. Power cable. Can't play without that, can we? Alright, I'm gonna have to put this down and then lift it up simply because of the intense foam. Oh, jeez, now look at that. Ain't that a thing of beauty? Where is my... Yeah, it's plastic, I'll just rip it open like an animal. again, I'm really excited because there it is. And within the box is the manual, startup guide. Nice. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to cut away really quick. I'm going to flip through the manual, check out the available settings, but right off the bat, like, I just want to take a notice of not only is this thing absolutely gorgeous, I'm afraid to touch it just for the sheer chrome box away. Yeah, let's see. We have two channels, a clean and a lead channel, and there seems to be a master, some master EQ here. Oh, for the reverb, tone cut, and volume. Standby and the on and off switch, obviously. Let's see on the back. Another thing to note, even though this is a rather small head, this is like maybe a third the size of my Laney. It is actually freaking heavy. But just look at the transformer. It's massive. This is, you know, meant to be one of their smaller heads, but it is just massive. You know, this clearly takes at least 2 hands to carry. This feels at least 25 pounds. When I looked it up, it said 22, but you know, for a small head, that is very surprising. Now let's see, we have the input for the power cable. You can choose if you want your amp to be Class AB or Class A. We'll get into that later once I read the manual. Here you can choose the emulated DI out. You can either have it as a 112 or a 412. That's handy. For a loudspeaker, for the speakers, you can choose 4, 8, and 16 ohms. That's great. Foot switch jack, and of course the ever needed effects loop. Alright, so again, I'm going to cut away, give myself a few minutes to read the manual, and yeah, when I come back, we'll plug in and check it out. Alright, hold on. Alright, hey everyone, I am back. So I was able to spend a few minutes with this, kind of get it going. It's been here warming up for about 10-20 minutes now. Yeah. So before I even start, I want to talk about a few things. Number one is the foot switch. It's made of metal, so I can guarantee you right now that this is going to be a very sturdy foot switch. It'll clearly take a beating, no matter how heavy your foot is on switches. I've had experiences where, you know, there are just some really flimsy foot switches that break after one good stomp, but this is very nice. It's very functional. I love it. It controls the channels between the clean and the dirty channel. It also turns on and off the onboard reverb, which is great. Alright, so for this demo, just keeping in mind, I'm going to keep everything dialed in at 12 o'clock. I have a very room-friendly volume setting to kind of give you a sense of what it sounds like, as well as, you know, trying to keep it kind enough for the neighbors, as it were. So I'm also going to be using my Schecter C1-FR for this as well, with active pickups. I am going to note, for those of you that like to use like Telecasters or Stratocasters, there is a fat switch on here, which helps you compensate for single coil pickups, which is great. Right now I have it off, simply because I am using active humbuckers. Alright, so let's check it out. This is the clean channel. Maybe I'll turn on my volume. let's check out the distortion channel. Now keep in mind this is only 2 channels, so there's not a secret lead switch somewhere. Turn on the reverb there at the end. Let's see, reverb. I'll just turn it all the way just so you can get a sense of it. Alright, so I guess my first impression with this amp is that it's a very nice, clean amp. I like the clean channel very much. It's very bright, but it's not so chimey where it's ear-shattering, which is great. The distortion for me seems a little bit more along the lines of like a hard rock as opposed to a straight up metal band. It's not so scooped in the mids area. There is, I will point out, a tone cut knob which eliminates some of the high end. I currently have that turned off because I want a little bit more high end from my distortion. But let's see if we play with that. Let's see what that sounds like. Tone cut is essentially just a tone knob on your guitar, just taking or adding or subtracting the high end from your sound. Right now, I like it off. Seems to be working pretty well at that. Yeah. Other than that, the response is pretty spot on. I like that. What else is there? There's not much else. Channel switch button, obviously, but why would you want a channel switch button if you have the foot switch upon your feet? You know, so that's okay. Again, just reiterating, there is a fat switch here for you single coil users, which is very handy, I admit. Maybe one day I'll go more in depth if you guys want with a single coil guitar, and just give that a whirl, see what that sounds like. Yeah, I gotta say, off the top of my head, you know, first impression, so far so good. Again, my end goal for this amp was I was strictly looking for a backup amp. You know, we've always had a situation where something bad happens on stage, where your amp, you know, blows out, or you know, that's the worst case scenario I can think of. And, you know, you don't have a backup. And I needed something small and somewhat lightweight that I could carry around with me. I couldn't carry, some of you may have remembered from before, I have a PV 6505 Plus, and while I love that amp, it's just way too, you know, clunky to be carrying around. So this would make a very fine backup amp. I feel like if I have an overdrive pedal, I could definitely push it more into the metal realm, but as of right now, this is a great starter for like hard rock. Yeah, and you know, again, the one reason I chose this particular amp is that number one, it had great reviews from multiple people. it was well within my price range. I was not looking to spend, more than $400 on a backup amp. You know what I mean? Like, for example, the competition with this amp was the PV Piranha, which I was able to get my hands on and try it in a store. And I gotta say, I was not impressed with it. Yes, it sounded great, but it was not a live show amp. Alright, it was strictly like a recording studio, or maybe even like just a home practice amp. It is something that would not have carried over a drum set. This will carry over a drum set. Another competition amp that I was looking at was the orange Micro Dark Terror, and it was a great little amp. Don't get me wrong, but again, it just wasn't loud enough. I need something for shows, for a live setting. You don't think about that when you're trying to come up with a good mini amp. And anything else that was in my price range was not loud enough, and everything else that was loud enough was out of my price range. So this definitely met my criteria that I was looking for. It's 50 watts, which is phenomenal. I use the Ironheart 60 watt head, and that thing is just a monster on stage. I don't need more than 60 watts on the stage, especially if I'm getting mic'd up. But yeah, that was just my rough demo of this Bugera T50 Infinium amp. And yeah, I'm very pleased with it. So let me know what you guys thought in the comments down below. And yeah, thanks for watching. And again, tune in next time. I am Leo the Guitarist.